Hi fellow collectors, and welcome back to another episode of Scott's Soldiers. Today I want to share with you a toy soldier equivalent to a flash mob. What is that, you say? Well, the Ottawa OMSS checked the weather forecasts and decided to have a parking lot sale in their area. So with several days notice, word was spread and voila, a parking lot sale occurred on a Saturday morning. Now I know some of you will say, wait, I've seen flash mobs on YouTube, and this parking lot sale is no flash mob. Yeah, well, when most of the attendees are over 65 years old, can't run the 400 in under 10 minutes, I would beg to differ. So sit back and enjoy the somewhat abbreviated video of a toy soldier flash mob, and ask yourselves, couldn't this be done in your region?
So here we are in the parking lot with some of the vendors getting set up. I know I referred to this as the equivalent of a contemporary flash mob, and I think that's fair. Word of mouth was spread via emails and social media, including the OMSS Facebook site, and people showed up. Alright, let's take a look at what was available. As you can see, people were selling literally out of the trunk of their cars. Some tables were also set up to accommodate larger volumes. There were individual figures, books, magazines, kits, lots of figures both boxed and unboxed. One vendor was selling accessories for 1/6 figures. I'm not a collector, but his uniforms and assorted items were incredibly detailed, and I will leave a link in the description paragraph, so check him out if you are into 1/6. Here are some of the things that caught my eye as I was walking around. Demi-ronde Prussian infantry of some German origin, some Napoleonic box figures by 1st Legion, and the prices were very, very good. A loose set of U.S. military figures, but they look to be of South African origin. So take a look at the bases here. There were also frame prints, cigarette cards, some resin figures, plastics, a really wide selection of things that should have appealed to a lot of collectors, looking to fill that little gap in their own collections. So what did I pick up? I saw this set of what can only be described as female militia members late 19th century. It's a 4-figure set made by Sea Bea Miniatures, and in speaking with the vendor, he subsequently provided me the following comments, that these were Canadian women militia styled after a photograph, which you can see here, of A Company, 62nd St. John Fusiliers, New Brunswick. Now, the young ladies are wearing a uniform styled on the then current military fashion, including the wide-brimmed slouch hat. However, this practical headdress was never intended to be balanced precariously atop an elegant coiffure. The officer in the center is wearing the 62nd mess dress, and this next set is also by Sea Bea Miniatures and is of the Royal Canadian Rifle Regiment, not to be confused with the Royal Canadian Regiment. This set includes 5 riflemen and an officer, I think, and they're shown here in a mid-19th century uniform, cap, long coat with red trim. This accompanying postcard shows the regiment at Fort Wellington Historical Site in Prescott, Ontario, and I'll leave a link in the description paragraph regarding this regiment. Also by Sea Bea is the singular figure of a dismounted trooper of the Lord Strathcona Horse Royal Canadians. You'll recall I did a video earlier this summer on the Royal Canadians. This is a well-painted figure and full of detail. I was not aware of Sea Bea Miniatures before this weekend, and I'm impressed that it did a number of Canadian figures. This set is by a Canadian company called Wolfe Toy Soldiers. It is one of the Fort Henry artillery. Now I know I already have sets by Good Soldiers of England and Labelles, but this set is a match to the Good Soldiers and will be a nice addition to my Fort Henry artillery pieces. And now that I have this, I think I'll stop collecting Fort Henry artillery. The final set that I purchased is by Errol John Studios and is a nicely detailed and well-painted grouping of France's Le Régiment des Gardes Françaises. This was the French monarch's guard until the Revolution of 1789. It had a long history of serving the French monarchy until its sympathies with the Revolution led its rank and file to participate in the storming of the Bastille, and we know how that day ended. Under successive French governments, the Guard has never been restored to the ranks, in part due to this act. Well, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this short video. I suppose whether it's a boot sale, a flea market, marché aux puces, it's still nice to get outside, see what the folks are selling, and maybe spend a little bit of money before you head off to Chicago for the Toy Soldier Show, or perhaps something more regional. If you are headed to today's September 24th Chicago show, don't forget, if you still have time, take a look at my video that I did of the 2022 show. You'll have a great time, and it should be on everybody's bucket list. Until next time, keep collecting.